Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode number 358. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
The band is back together.
I know. What's going on in 2024? We get together for the first week and then both disappear.
Signs of the times, my friend. Signs of the times.
Is that what it is? I don't know. I remember a time when I was halfway around the world and I'd still record the episode.
Yes, now we're like, you know what? We have enough people now. We have enough friends and people who have listened to the show that we can bring them on now. Let them do the show.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
like
it's true, right? We can just step aside.
it's like when Letterman was out with his heart attack or whatever, and he had special guests. For
Well,
that month.
if you remember episode 250, we did do that.
I think so. Yes, right. I think
We did.
some people broke in. Yeah,
Rich and Jack. Yeah,
they
Rich and
did.
Jack.
They hijacked us, and I still have yet to
Recorded
forgive
250
them.
for us. That was nice of them.
Yes.
Yeah, I've noticed. You're you're not a forgiving person, Larry.
Oh no, I'm not. No, never forget. I'm
No,
built
you
like,
carry
and I have a memory of an
grudges.
elephant.
Yes, you do. You have I think you have grudges against more celebrities than like any
Well,
celebrity does against other people.
probably because they're out in public. So
Doesn't matter. Like, yeah, but you make grudges with them. Like, you actually have grudges with them.
I do because it's a feeling. I love to hate.
Well, we'll just leave that there as we record a podcast where we appeal to our fans.
Of course, I love our fans. Don't get me wrong. There's one out there I'm not crazy about, but we love
See,
our fans.
see, that's the whole point of our show. So Larry can make more enemies.
And I'll let all of you wonder who you are. All right. So we got a fun episode this week, but first of all, actually the last 2 weeks, Felix from Flexo Production, Chris from Two Middle-Aged Guys trying to work it all out. Thank you both for
Yep.
subbing respectively. You guys, amazing friends of the show, friends of us. We really appreciate you guys. Really, both of them were kind of last minute. So,
Yep.
so it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it did work out well, and now we know we have people who can take over our show when we want to walk away from it.
100%. We will sell it to the lowest bidder.
I, you mean we will give it?
And I want to point out, last week, with you and Chris talking about like memories of games, just that has always been a part of me and meaning how when we do this podcast, and I've talked about them in the past, I'm not going to reiterate stories here, not until later in the year, but like, I did a whole episode on the N64, just my memories of the N64, because for me and you, that's where we really,
Yep.
as you mentioned last week. So, yeah, that was great to hear, and Chris had some really fun stories as well. So very good stuff.
I loved Chris's stories. They were great. And just a quick, if you haven't listened to his stories, go back to last week's episode and listen. Kudos to his parents,
Yeah, right.
right? For making that extra effort to make it fun.
I would have two steps in, and we're like, all right, just tell me where it is. I'm done.
Well, you had no patience. See, I would have enjoyed that. Instead, it was just thump here, open this.
Supposedly, I never. My parents always say I was never really overexcited during Christmas. Like I would just open something up, be like, all right, cool, next. Open something, oh, cool, next.
Mm.
I don't know. I didn't express inside. I was joyful to get Super Mario Brothers 2 and 3, but I guess outgoing, it wasn't so crazy.
I might attribute that to like, when you see like a stack of gifts and it's like, oh my God, I have to get through all of these. It almost becomes like work where it's like, okay, this one's open. Okay, this one's open. And we just until you're done, and then you're like, ooh, now I get to open and play them.
You know what? You make a good point. I don't want to wait 12 months to ask this question because God knows I'm going to forget. But like, did you ever like, go after, because you knew what, like Chris, I think Chris mentioned it last week as well. Like you knew the shapes of like a video game box that was wrapped.
Yep.
But besides video games, like you have like almost like maybe like a console or something, you'd be like in your head, you're like, all right, so that one's that big, that one's that small, that one's probably not related to this. Like you ever try to like piece together what might be, not what it literally is, but like what it might have been when you're trying to unwrap stuff?
Yeah, I always did. And at the same time, I always knew what I asked for. So if I saw the box that I thought was that item, that's the box I'd save for last. because I always want the last gift to be the best one. I always hated
course.
it if like I opened the last one. No, I would always hate it. I'd be like, I opened all these great gifts, and then the last one, and I'm like, oh look, socks. What a downer for a final gift. So I would always try and save something for the end that I knew would be like really awesome.
Meanwhile, this past Christmas, I was ecstatic to get socks, like legit. Like, oh, thank God
Oh no, no,
I
no.
got socks.
I am an old man.
You
I am
know?
an old man. Like I got excited. I got a neck heating pad that wraps around your neck. And I opened that thing and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then literally the other side of me was like, God, I hate me. I was like, I hate me so much. I am so old.
Two old retro gamers podcast, folks. Welcome to the show.
We'll change the name eventually.
So, but nevertheless, very fun stuff. And again, two wonderful episodes. So again, thank you, Felix. Thank you, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna, get into this episode, but before we start, I got something kind of cool, interesting, in the mail from Etsy. So I wanted to kind of show off. So I have, since getting the Analog Duo, which I love my Analog Duo, been playing Batman for the PC Engine.
Oh, nice.
Oh my God, that game is phenomenal. Again, if you're not familiar with it, it's very, has like a Bomberman look to it. Doesn't play like Bomberman, it just has that look to it. But the game is,
that top down ish.
yeah, exactly, kind of, sort of.
It's kind of top down. It's almost like a 3/4.
Oh yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
like Zelda.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Great game based on the '89 movie. And I think if I heard it correctly, because it was made by Sunsoft, so it makes sense. But I think this, if I heard correctly, the same music in the NES version is also in this one, even though they're like two totally different games.
That's cool.
That was
Well, I
kind of
mean,
cool.
they're both made by Sunsoft.
Exactly. So in
So it
any
just
event,
makes sense.
so I've been collecting the games and everything. Got some CD games, got some the Hue card games. So a lot of the games are coming. I just have the Hue cards. I don't have the
Right.
actual case. So what I did was I went onto Etsy, because you can find everything on Etsy.
Of course you can.
And my personal favorite shop to go to if you're looking for like storage and everything like that, especially, in fact, basically everything, well, except for the systems, these two, but basically everything on this wall, these systems down here that are hanging on the wall, I got these holders from Bitter Kitten Gaming on Etsy. Bitter Kitten Gaming.
Nice.
And the newest, and the controller holders, which you don't see, they're on the other side over here. But I got these little covers. That's all they are simple 3D covers for the Hue cards.
Oh, nice.
And they just fit right on top, just enough to cover the pins.
Nice. Good way to protect them.
Oh, so simple, so effective. And they I mean, when you first put them on, you gotta, you kind of gotta work them in. But once they're on, they go on and off pretty easily. And what I love is they're designed enough, you're never going to see it on the camera.
Yeah.
But they're designed enough where they kind of, quote unquote, lock on to the Hue card right where the pins end.
I see.
Kind of like, you know what I mean? Like these little end parts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really no worry of scratching the connectors. So, and again, that's basically what I got. I got a bunch of them here.
Speaking of scratching,
very cool.
You got some scratching going on over here.
Oh, look at this. He's starting to become a camera hog.
He really is. He just wants the attention. Right, Link? You want all the attention? For like 3 seconds, and then he jumps up. Oh, look at
Scratch
this.
him like a guitar.
That's what he likes.
It's all right. Yeah. Finally, 8 years after owning the cat, my parents' cat is finally becoming affectionate.
Nice. Right. My cat's very affectionate. As long as I'm not allowed to play Stray around them. They don't like that. So right? You don't like Stray, all the meowing?
Oh, too much meowing, because they know what they're saying.
Yeah, exactly. So
check out.
So that's a cool buy.
Bitter Kitten Gaming. So very cool on Etsy. God, Etsy has so much stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I've been very well behaved the last couple of weeks. I have not bought anything.
Oh, look at you. Good for you.
Well, Christmas happened. I went to don't forget, I was in Asia. I bought the Neo Geo Mini.
Yes, you did. Yes.
I bought all the modules for my Polymega, which still haven't shipped.
They should be, though. I saw some news on that. They should be shipping soon.
Yeah. It said pre-orders are shipping. So this was not a pre-order. This is just an order. So I don't know if that's going to include my modules.
Well, now remember, like one of their big updates that they announced was that you can track your shipping online. So you can go on and see, I guess, where the status is on it or something like that.
No, that's such a lie.
Really? Because I saw some people post
Well,
about
no,
tracking.
yeah, there's tracking, but you have to download this app called Shop, which I
Oh, I got
did.
that app.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how they do. I thought it was straight from their website.
No, because it's like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so like I downloaded Shop
Yeah.
and all it says is like here,
No, I
order
know
place,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
order placed.
Yep.
That's all I got. And I'm like, well, that's lovely. But I placed the order like 3 weeks ago
Yeah,
or
once
more.
once it does ship though, that's actually a really good app because then you can really track it good. But you're right, I didn't realize that's really all they were talking about.
Yeah,
But
that's all that it
all
is.
right,
But
no big deal.
it's not incredibly helpful.
But I saw something and I apologize now. I can't. Oh, here we go. Something I don't know if you have this in your news, probably not. I don't know, but it was a system software update for the Polymega.
Uh-huh.
Um, but what where is it? It restored some of the, or maybe it
Pico.
wasn't part of that.
It was the Pico Interactive games.
Yes, yes, that's what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw that. Something happened where like I think their agreement might have expired with Pico
Hmm.
Interactive or something. So a lot of the games just got removed.
That's what I was
And
curious. Like, did games disappear from your system? Did you notice?
I didn't even notice no.
Okay, maybe not, but
But yeah, but apparently like they worked out some type of deal with Pico Interactive and they are getting restored.
all right, good stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's being only restored. Again, this is just off of memory, so God knows we're probably getting it wrong. But I think they're just restoring those who bought like the initial base unit, like you have.
Hmm.
But I think new base units are not shipping with the games, nor I think are they going to get them anyway. I think this was only for like the initial orders, kind of like a
Okay.
bonus, if you will.
Yeah, because there were bonus games installed
Yeah,
that
yeah,
included Pico Interactive games.
exactly. So,
Yeah, which also, by the way, Pico Interactive, their collection on the Evercade just dropped.
oh my God, PIKO Interactive is amazing. Period.
Yeah.
The games that they've released, digitally for the home for the new consoles. You're right. There, do I have any of them?
Did you
I
buy the Evercade one?
don't know because I think I already had most of the games anyway.
Oh,
But
okay.
oh my God, they do like Pico, Digital Eclipse, Qbyte. These are companies. There was one more. I forgot the limited run uses them. Carbon Engine, I think it's called. I might have that wrong.
Okay.
Um, a lot of these companies are like these four are like the top, in my opinion, as far as them bringing these old games to new systems because it's not just a matter of just throw like we'll just sell the ROM. Like they have to, I guess, tweak it or whatever. And they add
Hmm.
what do they call them now? Something of life, quality of life updates or something as they call
Oh.
it, like rewind feature.
I was gonna say proof of life.
What I think it's called quality of life.
Mm.
Like rewind features and stuff like that. So
Okay.
those four are top notch. But yeah, Pico, they got a really cool collection of games. So kind of curious to see how that goes. But keep an eye out. You might be missing some games, but they might be reappearing on your system. And like you
Yeah.
said, you probably won't even notice.
I probably, yeah, knowing me, it's like, oh yeah, good, they're there. And I haven't touched
So news came out recently that we just can't ignore
Well,
because
it's about your favorite person.
oh my God, the greatest villain of all time, the greatest movie villain, and quite
I
frankly,
was gonna, until you
yeah,
said movie villain, I'm like, I don't want to talk about you for an hour.
what? How dare you, sir? Am I a movie villain? Ah, I'm good, man. Forget about it.
Maybe I'm the movie villain. I don't know.
No, you chaotic evil, me chaotic neutral.
Yeah, I'll take that, and I'll wear it proudly. I should put
Oh,
get a button.
Billy Mitchell, my friend and yours as well, came out with some news and some news in general dropped. So kind of to get into it, and I feel like as the days go on, more information is coming out,
Yeah, this has been very weird.
or I should say, more clarity is
Yes.
coming out. Basically, long story short, Billy Mitchell was this like the gamer of the century, getting all these wicked high scores in everything. And we're talking like originally.
Mhm.
Um, most
Donkey
famous.
Kong, Pac-Man,
Yep, most famous for King of
Donkey Kong.
Kong, A Fistful of
Hmm.
Quarters, which was an amazing documentary on getting the high score of Donkey Kong between him and Steve Wiebe.
Hmm.
Also, the first movie I ever watched when I moved into my first apartment on my own, when I had no furniture, nothing
Nice.
whatsoever, just had my Xbox 360, and I think I might have rented it or something. Um,
So you a lawn chair in King of Kong.
Not even a lawn chair. I think I just had either a folding chair or I was just sitting right on the ground. I had
Nice.
nothing that night. So and it's gone back and forth. He has the only person I know of that has a perfect score, which he did live in front of people, a perfect score in Pac-Man, which is wicked.
Hmm.
But recently, and maybe like 5, 6 years ago, even further than that, it came out that he cheated essentially.
Yeah.
His high scores were not proper. Now, why it took so long after King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters? Because when I was watching that movie, and it's the epic scene, let's bring you back. We're not going to show it here because we can't pay for the rights.
No.
But this epic scene when Steve Wiebe is going for the kill screen in Donkey Kong. And the guy's walking around. Oh, we're getting a kill screen. There's a kill screen coming up. Like he's going up to all the gamers. It was hysterical. Kill screen coming up. So I think he gets the kill screen if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I saw the movie. Everyone's clapping, and then all of a sudden, someone's like, "Oh, here we go. Here's a television screen. Here's a VHS tape of out of nowhere. Billy Mitchell has a video of him. What? Minutes, hours probably because they played it live, but minutes after Steve Wiebe gets the high score, all of a sudden Billy Mitchell via videotape, which means he's done it probably weeks before, regains the high score. But even in the documentary, they note that the screen like jumped
Yep.
and the screen flickered. So I don't know why right then and there they were like, wait a minute, something's going on with this guy. But what news were you able to pull up a little bit about this? Because he ended up suing Twin Galaxies and everything.
So the story is like after Twin Galaxies decided to remove him from their score database because
Hmm.
they had determined what happened was they had determined that he had used a altered arcade cabinet. Like
Bored, yeah.
they had altered the board in the arcade cabinet, which is what disqualified him. And because it disqualified him from one score, they just disqualified him from all of them because they're like, well, we don't know what else, we don't know what else you adjusted. So because for the cheating, they took him out. Um, so he sued Twin Galaxies for defamation in 2019.
Was it back in 2019?
Yeah,
Wow,
it
it's
was in
been a while.
2019. And then what was interesting though was Guinness Book of World Records
Hmm.
when this all came out, and I think it came out. I want to say it came out. I don't remember when exactly it came out. The article I have here doesn't say,
Hmm.
but he sued them in 2019 because Guinness Book of World Records took his high scores away. But then they reinstated them in 2020 for some odd
Guinness
reason.
did.
Guinness did.
Okay, okay.
Guinness did. But at the time, Billy Mitchell was suing Twin Galaxies in 2019. In 2021, Twin Galaxies countersuited.
All
Um,
over a high score. Look,
yes,
we're
this is all
gamers,
about a high
but
score in
I
video
mean,
games.
there's a lot of money going into high score, just about high scores.
Yeah. So there was a lot of back and forth there. Um, and then aside from that, I didn't realize with evidence surfacing, I'm reading this off of Time Extensions
Okay.
article. With evidence surfacing that Mitchell had indeed achieved his high scores on a modified cabinet and that he had lied about being given a plaque by Namco naming him the video game player of the century.
I didn't know about that. That's
I didn't know about
phenomenal.
that. I didn't know about that one either. So, um, so because of that, the countersuit for Twin Galaxies was going well.
Hmm.
But then Twin Galaxies' lawyer was accused of misconduct following that he improperly contacted two witnesses during the case, something he admitted to and expressed remorse for.
Oh.
But now the reason why this is coming out now, the case has been settled.
Hmm.
Um, and the way that it was settled is Billy Mitchell's high scores have been reinstated,
Hmm.
but only in Twin Galaxies' historic database up to 2014. So in other words, they have re-recognized him as the high score leader up until 2014.
Hmm.
He is any after 2014, his scores are not acknowledged, and whoever has the high score after that has it.
Yeah. Right
So,
now, the high score for Donkey Kong. I'm just reading the New York Times. Probably the only time I read New York Times.
mhm.
Current record holder, as per Twin Galaxies, belongs to Robbie Lakeman at 1,272,800 points
Right.
in Donkey Kong. So, all right. So Twin Galaxy. So they settle out of court or whatever they do. They drop the charge, whatever they
Hmm.
did, like you said. And Twin Galaxies restores his scores up until 2014.
Yes.
Now, Billy Mitchell is not only the greatest villain of all time, he is the greatest spinster or spin master, whatever you want to call it, of
Yes.
all time, because he posted back on January 16th, he posted on his social media um, something that made everyone think, oh, everything's hunky dory between him and
Yep.
Twin Galaxies, and he's back on top. I'm just going to read verbatim because the salutation on this is amazing.
Yes.
So don't mind me. Here we go. Quote, statement from Billy Mitchell. Today, January 16th, 2024, Twin Galaxies has reinstated all of the video game world records that I have achieved in my career, effective immediately. Twin Galaxies' statement on its website reads in pertinent part. So now he's quoting Twin Galaxies.
Yep.
In fair consideration of the expert opinion provided by Dr. Zaida on behalf of Mr. Mitchell and consistent with Twin Galaxy's dedication to the meticulous documentation and preservation of video game score history, Twin Galaxies shall heretofore reinstate all of Mr. Mitchell's scores as part of the official historical database on Twin Galaxies websites. Maybe that's where we all got confused. Historical
Yeah.
database.
Yeah.
Um,
And go ahead if
I
you
was just one more
finish it
sentence.
off. Yep.
Now this is Billy Mitchell. I am relieved and satisfied to reach this resolution after an almost 6-year ordeal and look forward to pursuing my unfinished business elsewhere. Here we go. Never surrender, Billy Mitchell.
Oh gosh. So
You gotta love him.
true. So in response to this, because there was confusion about
Oh,
his
big
scores,
confusion.
there's
Yeah.
big confusion. So, and that's why I was talking. That's why the two word the word to be the words to be very yeah, to hone in on
Mhm.
historical database. So Twin Galaxies in response to this posted the following. In case, and they did this in almost like a Q&A type of thing. And then,
Okay.
so in case there's any confusion, is Billy still banned from Twin Galaxies competition? Yes. Are Billy's world records going back onto the main leaderboards? No. Has the opinion of Twin Galaxies changed regarding Billy's Donkey Kong scores? No. So they still stand firm that he cheated.
Oh
And
yeah,
then,
totally.
so then, and then they said, Twin Galaxies has no problem acknowledging that there is an expert out there that has a different opinion than the one Twin Galaxies has. And they're talking about Dr. Zaida.
Okay.
We very much believe that it is important that people are aware of all the information so they can make their own judgments. If people have questions about what that expert has to say, they can inquire with that person. On the Twin Galaxies side of things, nothing has changed, except that we are excited to have the old historic database publicly available so people can see what used to be. That's something that Twin Galaxies should always have as part of history. So that's where they're pointing out
Mhm.
that the score database up until 2014 will be available publicly as their historic database. And that's where you'll see Billy Mitchell's high scores. But you will never see them again on a main leaderboard, nor will you never see him again compete for Twin Galaxies.
That is amazing.
Yes.
I guess now all he has left is his hot sauce.
Right? Or no, well, no, he's gonna walk around, he's gonna walk around
Oh,
still
he's gonna
like,
crow about this.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna claim vindication and all that stuff. And it's like, see, everything got reinstated. I was legit. Um, and then he's gonna sue Namco for not giving him the plaque that he made up.
I want to see this plaque because I feel like I've seen him with a plaque.
Mhm.
I don't know why, but I feel like I have.
Well, if he does have a plaque, it's like
I know.
man-made. Like he made
Imagine like,
I'm gonna print out I'm gonna print out an award, Larry, and you
yep.
see up here where my Nintendo power is. Like 1 week, you're just gonna see an award show up here, and that'll be it. And you'll be like, wait, what's that? I'd be like, oh yeah, I won this.
Oh, that is amazing. Hey,
I won this from me.
on a side note,
Yeah.
his because he owns Ricky's Restaurants. If you find yourself in Hollywood, Florida, please visit
No,
Ricky's Restaurants and
no,
his Ricky's world famous Louisiana hot sauce.
no.
5 ounces is right now selling for $12.50.
Well, we have a friend who would want the hot sauce, but
Maybe,
yeah, no.
but
I would never give that man a dime.
oh, this is amazing.
No.
So, wow.
So,
Okay, side note,
uh-oh.
no. It's like six, like 4 out of 5 stars for the rating, but there's one one person wrote Steve W. No, someone gave 1 star.
What, to King of Kong?
No, for his hot sauce.
Oh, for his hot
This
sauce.
is the Amazon review.
Okay.
1 star, spoiled tomato soup. What, what a waste of money. Watched the cheater on King of Kongs and thought it'd be funny to get the sauce. It tastes awful. There's no heat, and all it is, it literally tastes like old tomato soup. I
Nice.
tried it, and then friends tried to see if it was just me. Thought it was awful. Nope. It was unanimous that it's all hype and zero redeeming qualities. Don't waste your money. I literally toss it in the trash after trying it. Oh, that is phenomenal.
Nice.
So,
Wild. Absolutely wild.
oh, Billy Mitchell just continues. I guarantee you that he starts his own high score like company or whatever.
Yeah, that he'll be first in every game.
Honestly,
It's like, oh, yep, I'm the winner in everything.
it'll be like the Ganyas in AWA.
Yes. Mm.
So,
He's like that. He's like, he's like the ultimate spoiled brat who, like, if he doesn't get what he wants, they just create it for him so that he's happy.
I wonder if he's still wearing like the that USA Statue of
Tie.
Liberty tie that he was wearing.
Probably.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Probably.
Oh, Billy Mitchell. All right. Well, there's your Billy Mitchell update, folks. If you're wondering what the hell happened to him.
Yeah. I'm perfectly happy not knowing what happens to him, but and he still manages to show. And again, but this, again, it all works in his favor. The fact that you read a New York Times article about him for this just shows how far, like, it extends and keeps him in the news.
So, I mean, fine. It was on Yahoo because Yahoo was also reporting. I pulled up, Yahoo via Games Radar. Someone has a link to the actual note from, I'm not going to read it, it's a couple pages, but from Michael Zaida, Dr. Zaida. And wow, this is something just to peruse. If you get it's only 2 pages and then a screenshot of something. Might have to check this out later. But yeah, so if anyone wants to look at it, the actual notes from Dr. Zaida is on there. It's
yes.
why, yeah.
You know why I don't trust Dr. Zaida?
Why?
Because we're talking about a video game high score. If you have to enlist anybody who has the title of doctor to verify a video game high score, I want to think that it's not real. like I found the best doctor in the world to validate my high score. What?
I think we might need Jack to read through this because there is some really detailed information on here. So
we'll get our translator on.
Oh, I'm saving that and reading that later. All righty. Well, there we are. Billy Mitchell.
Well, Billy Mitchell has taken over 20 minutes of our show. 20 minutes too much.
Hey, listen, that's 20 minutes less information that we had to come up with.
Well, let's move on, shall we?
All right. Well, before we move on, though, because I'm sure a lot of people want to let us know how they feel about Billy Mitchell. So where can they find us? Where can they contact us?
All right. You guys can find us on Facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast, on Instagram at RetroGamersPodcast, on Twitter
X
at RetroGamersPod. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube at Retro Games Podcast. Apparently, you can watch us on Spotify as well.
Yes.
According to Larry.
That's new. Yeah.
That's a new thing. So you can watch us on Spotify as well. And you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
Yes. All right. So with that being said, let us continue on. Because we were both out, we got some catching up to do. as far
We
as
do. We definitely
game of the week.
do. Games
Games
of the week.
of the week.
Games of the week. Yeah, we do. And we're gonna start with the first one,
Yes.
which I gave way back at the start of the year
Yeah.
on our January 2nd episode. I had selected because I got my at the time I got my N64 module for the Polymega, so I thought it just made sense to choose an N64 game, and I chose Star Fox 64.
Great choice. Great choice. A game I haven't touched in forever.
So then, curious, what are your thoughts?
So going back again, I haven't played Star Fox 64 in a hot minute. I played via the N64, a Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack. So I played it off of there with their N64 controller. So at least I got that going. I mean, muscle memory definitely did not come back to me for this game. So I never, as I mentioned before, I never owned the Super Nintendo version, the first Star Fox game. I had that competition game, which I'm still rifling through my parents' house to desperately try and find, which I know is gone forever. But when I got Star Fox 64, and I feel like I can't be 100% on this, but I feel like I bought Star Fox 64 half for the game, but or maybe even like 40% for the game, 60% for the Rumble pack that came with it. Yeah.
Yep. That was the only way to get the Rumble pack.
No, it was. And that's another thing. Like Nintendo, whenever they put out their little pearls, they always bundled it with a game. It took forever for it to come out on its own. Genius on their part. Don't get me wrong. Because the only way to get one of the only ways to get the expansion, like the RAM expansion, was Donkey Kong 64.
Yep.
So
that's right.
Yeah. So anyway, started playing Star Fox 64. No muscle memory came back whatsoever. I had to go through the tutorial to remember how to play the game. Be that as it may, controllers aside, the graphics to me it just brought me back to the mid 90s to this game. I just remember going like, how can graphics get any better than Super Mario 64? Well, let's put it into a flying game, and holy cow, look at this. This looks amazing. I didn't get too far into it though, admittedly. I only got like a couple levels in. I love that. I ended up loving that game. Again, I bought the game more for the Rumble pack. That's what I wanted it for. But I ended up falling in love with that game. Even though I never went back and I never properly played the Super Nintendo version. But with the N64 version, I mean, just do a barrel roll. I mean, that's stuck in everyone's head. And Slippy and Falco and
Peppy.
Yes, thank you. Wow. I think I forget Peppy because Peppy always ends up like his ship is always in dry dock. Like he's always getting repairs, at least in my games. And that was another cool thing. Even though it was a one-player game, you're technically playing 4 players with 4 life bars.
Yes.
So you have the opportunity to lose a character or miss out on one of your teammates. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. This team effort to try and save your partners at the same time moving forward in the game.
Yeah. No, I agree with all of that. I love the fact that you had your 3 partners with you. And then for me, this was one of my favorite games on the N64 period. It really was. It was one of my favorites. I remember buying it. And I don't remember if I bought it specifically because I wanted the Rumble pack. I just saw it and I was like, oh, this looks like a really cool game. And then when I played it, I was like, oh God, I know this like either I missed out on games like that. Like I missed out on Star Fox on Super Nintendo because
weird, right? How we missed that. It was such a good, like popular game.
It was, and it just kind of off the radar.
It barrel rolled right out of us.
It definitely did. But I have to say, like Star Fox 64, definitely one of the most fun. I love the fact that the story that they gave it was really strong. Like it was a basic story with Andros is trying to take over and all that stuff. But like the little bit of added story of like Star Fox's dad was killed by him and all that.
Right.
Like they gave it. They gave it enough where it's like going into it, it's like I felt like this charge of like, ooh, it's like I have to beat him. He killed my dad. But not only that, but the layout of each level, the level structure.
Yes.
And being able to go different paths through the game based on how you performed in certain levels. I absolutely fell in love with that because I remember playing this back in the day and trying to figure out what I had to do to get to the other levels. When I did my playthrough this time around, I beat the game. I went through the whole thing. It took
Oh,
me,
did you beat it?
yeah, it
Good for
took me
you.
about, I think it took me about an hour. So it
Is this
wasn't
the
that,
first time you beat the game?
no,
Oh, okay.
I've beaten this game many times.
Gotcha.
Again, because I don't know if I still don't know if today if I played every level in the game,
Gotcha.
but I've played most of them because I found my way through like how
Mhm.
to unlock the other ones. But I have to say, just like, yeah. So playing through it this time, I think I went on the basic track because I didn't remember. The only one I remembered that would get me to move to a different direction was there's one level where you're going up against like Andross's Star Fox team,
Okay.
which is Star Wolf and
Oh,
three
yes,
other
yes, yes.
characters. So that
Yeah.
so so you're doing the all range mode thing and you're battling those four. And I
Mhm.
remember if I remember correctly, the goal in that one is if you defeat all four of them before time runs out, you move to like a different direction. But
That's what it was. It wasn't just
yeah,
choosing like an outrun. You had to do something
you
for
had to do
branching.
something.
Yeah.
And I beat three of them.
Oh,
And I did not beat the fourth one. So I was like, oh, bummer. But but still, just going the standard route was still really, really fun. Um, this time around, I did not realize, I don't know why that I noticed this time, but how easy most of the final bosses were in each one. There were a couple that
you're right.
there were a couple that were a pain, but most of them I literally like just plowed through really quickly.
It's funny you say that. I was thinking, and again, I didn't get far into the game at all, but I got through at least the first two bosses, I can tell you.
Mhm.
And I remember thinking to myself, like, these guys are easy, even easier than they should be being a level 1 and a level 2 boss.
Mhm.
And it's funny you mention that. Yeah, I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, this is interesting how
Yeah.
simple it is to get to them.
Yeah, but
To beat
even
them.
when you get to Andros, and it could also be because I went on the easier route. I think on the harder
That's
route
true
they may
too.
be
You're
they're
right.
more difficult.
You're right.
But when I got to Andros at the end, like it really took nothing for me to beat him.
Okay.
Like I beat him really quickly, and it was and it was. But even still, doing all of that, it was a lot of fun. I love the challenge. I love the that third person view where the ship
Yes.
is the center point. The maneuvering was really smooth. I love how you go through the first level as an instructional level, like
Hmm.
Peppy's teaching you how to do everything.
Yeah.
Um,
I still can't do the cartwheel. I don't know why. I'm just
oh
doing
yeah,
something wrong, obviously, but I just can't figure it out. Everything else I can do.
I get that right most of the time, but sometimes I mess it up because sometimes like if you don't do it right, I think you hit the brakes
Yes, exactly.
instead of
Exactly.
doing the somersault.
Yep.
But still, all in all, like and again, you brought this up. You can lose teammates, they go back to the ship to get repaired, and then they come back like a level later, like they're
Yep.
out for one level and then come back for the next one, which is really cool. Um and also if I remember correctly, I want to say there might be multiple endings to this depending on which
Oh, I don't know about
path you
that.
choose.
Okay.
That part I don't remember. Um but but overall, like going back to this, playing it all the way through made me want to go back. And this was the other thing about this game that I really loved. Even though I got through the whole game, it made me want to go back and play it again.
Really?
And for a single player game, to have a replay value like that to
Hmm.
me is always like very, it's just something you don't get very often. Yeah, because going through it, I was like, oh man, it's like I want to go through and find my way to the other levels, or I want to play through the game without losing any of my teammates. Because like I got
Hmm.
like those types of things. And then I don't know if you remember, because we only did the one player mode.
Yeah.
Then there was the multiplayer all range battle mode where you can play with your friends.
Yes.
That was also a
Which
lot
I
of fun.
never, I don't think we ever played that.
Oh no, we did.
Did
We
we?
definitely did. Oh, we
I don't
absolutely
remember
did.
that.
We didn't play it. We didn't play it as much because we were busy with like wrestling games and stuff.
That's, yeah,
But
yeah, no,
and
yeah.
Mario Party. But
Yes.
we did play it on Star Fox, and I loved the multiplayer mode in that game. I didn't play
Hmm.
it this time around because I played it solo. But I loved playing that. And it was only fun if you had four people.
Yeah.
It really was. If you had four people, the battle mode was really, really cool. So and then of course, obviously adding the rumble pack to it so that you actually felt
Oh, it was
what was
amazing.
going on in the game was just awesome. So all in all, like really good pick on my part because the game held up to me just as well as it did when I first got it.
All right,
And
very
it's
cool.
one of the games on the N64 I will always go back to. So, I actually I'd give it 5 barrel rolls out of 5.
Wow.
5 out of
Okay.
5 barrel rolls for me.
Okay. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Again, just I loved it. I wasn't over the moon about it, but I certainly loved it. Definitely gonna go, as a lot of these game of the weeks have done to me. Definitely gonna go back and try again. Just this week was a little wacky, so I couldn't get to it,
Mhm.
or the past 2 weeks. Um, and it kind of makes me want to get now because I don't think I have it. Star Fox 64 3D on the 3DS.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because they have the campaign mode, 64 mode, which is like the original mode, and
Yep.
then they have like a specific kind of slightly redesigned to take advantage of the 3DS and the 3D perspective. So now I'm really interested about that. But in
Yeah.
any event, Star Fox 64, awesome choice, awesome game, and
Yep.
glad you enjoyed it. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely loved it.
All right, and then the following week, when you were out, we did not review Star Fox 64. Wanted to wait for you,
Mhm.
but as me and Felix were talking about some games that were certainly overdue in new entries. Felix made it a good point, and I made it official. So, Battletoads was the second game of the
Yes.
week, if you will,
Yes.
and boy, for such a sadistic game to choose, Felix, it was a
Mhm.
great choice, and a game I haven't touched in a long time. Shockingly, I don't own an original NES cart. At least I don't think I do, because I looked through.
Um,
But I was able to play a cart. Actually, this is a new cart, a Famicom, the Famicom version. This is an official
very nice.
release of Battletoads, a re-release.
Very cool.
So I played off of this. I don't honestly know if there's a difference between the Famicom and the North American versions.
I couldn't tell you.
Usually, the Famicom versions of games tend to be a little tougher. So
Hmm.
God help me. Um, Also playable on the Rare Replay on the Xbox.
Yep.
Great, and that's the original NES version. So I started with Star Fox. You start with Battletoads.
All right. Yeah, so I have Rare Replay, so that's how I played it,
Perfect.
which is great. Like you with Star Fox, I only got through. Well, let's go this way with it. I have never been a fan of this game.
Okay, like
Um,
legit.
Legit,
Just not okay.
never
Okay.
been a fan of the game. I always felt like I just always felt like, well, I mean, I always felt like not that the graphics were necessarily bad, almost like I can't think of what I'm trying to say. The
The aesthetics.
like the hitboxes were just
Oh,
weird.
okay, okay. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
like
Why
the
can't I know
hitbox,
what you're talking about.
yeah, the hitboxes when you're fighting to me were always weird.
I can't think of the
Um,
proper term for that now.
yeah, I thought it was hitbox.
No, it's something
Um,
else. But in any event,
but anyway, so I thought that again, I never thought that the hitboxes were good
yeah.
in that game. But on top of it, when you make a game so incredibly difficult that you just get frustrated beyond belief and you don't want to play it anymore. I can't in good conscience give that like a really like a solid review. Um, when I played it, I got to the same point I always get to in the game, which is the second level. I never get past the second
You
level.
never got past the second level?
I never get past the second level going down
Yeah,
the
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Nope. Nope.
Wow.
Nope. And I tried 4 or 5 times, like 4 or 5 continues while I
Okay.
was playing. And at that point, by the time I get to the fourth or fifth run, I'm like, I don't want to waste my time anymore. So then I'm just like already checking out. And that's why I never got past the second level, because like I would just check out after a certain point. And I'm like,
All
okay, I
right.
go, I'm done. So not a very good experience for me, but on par with my experience with the game in the past. So, and I know it's one of those games where it's like a badge of honor type of thing if you get
Mm.
through it. And I'm like, you know what? Keep your badge. Keep your badge. I don't need it. I've got my badge in other games that I've enjoyed more that were worth me grinding to
Wow.
get through.
Oh my gosh.
Battletoads is not one that I want to grind through.
The hate is palatable. All right, fair enough though, because Battletoads is wicked. It's
Yes.
like there's Mega Man difficulty, and then there's Battletoads difficulty.
Yes.
Um, I, on the other hand, love this game.
Hmm.
And for one of the reasons is actually, and trust me, I've had my fair share of games that you hit that frustration level, like you said, where I'm like, F this, I'm done. I'm not getting through this part, forget about it. But there was something about Battletoads for me that just made me want to go back, where
Okay.
it was almost like a lot of the levels actually are very repeat die until you get the pattern down, because a lot of it is just pure pattern.
Yeah.
And when you finally get that pattern, and I, because it's been a long time since I sat down and properly played Battletoads, and I got that feeling again recently. So speaking of how far you get in the game, the furthest I ever got, and I forgot about this, excuse me, until I got to it when I was playing again. I thought like you, I never got past the speed. Well, I've gotten past the wicked speed runner, the motorcycles, whatever you want to call them,
Okay.
the jets. So I've gotten past that in the past, but I have, because when I got to it, I'm like, oh, I have gotten here. The level with the snakes, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like level 6.
Okay.
So I've definitely gotten that far, because that's how far I got now, to the snakes, with these big giant snakes that just move around, and you have to ride them and jump on them and work
Oh.
your way up
Okay.
to get to the exit. And there's like 1, 2, 3. I think there's like 4 or 5 different rooms to go through. And this is pure. You have to go through it, and you have to remember the patterns of the snakes, because they always go in the same patterns. So
Okay.
this is definitely frustration level at a max, especially when you get to it the first time. But and I remember I found myself dying. I somehow accumulated a ton of one-ups. I don't know how I got there, but I had a
Okay.
ton of lives. But I went through all of them, but I got ever so close, just inching my way closer and closer
Hmm.
to the end of the board. What also helped is that I remembered, which I didn't know back in the day, but I think there's 2 of them in the game, but I only know of one. There is a warp in this game.
Oh.
There is, and
Okay.
it's in the speed bike level. So God help you. And it warps you 2 levels up. So that's how I got. In the past, I've gone through those 2 levels,
Okay.
but this is how I got to the snake board on this time around. Because I remember watching, I'm like, it's at the very end of the speed board. Speed. Why can't I think of the name of this stupid vehicle? Speed bikes. That's what I want to say. Let me
Is
write
it
it.
is it the second level?
No, it's the
Not the
very
second.
last. It's the third level.
It's called the speed bike.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking at Wikipedia
No,
right now.
I wrote it down. I just couldn't think of it. So it's on the very last part where you don't even know where they just, I mean, you're going at a high rate of speed and they're coming at you.
Okay.
It's of the 5 walls on the bottom, it's the 5th wall you basically got to drive into, but you can see it. You actually do
Hmm.
see it, but you blink and you miss it. So
Okay.
I finally remembered that. That still took me about 4 tries to get to the warp. But nevertheless, and getting as far as I did in this one makes me want to go back and ready to go again.
Yep.
Because much like Star Fox, the end level bosses aren't as bad. Now, I never beat the game, but aren't as bad as you think they might be. Some of the levels there are no bosses. You got to get to the end of
Hmm.
it, and then you're done.
Right.
So, but I just remember not as much frustration, but this game, like I said before, made me want to go back and remember and just get through the patterns,
Okay.
and ever so close
And
again.
you're perfectly happy going back knowing that you have to get through 11 levels.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Well, 2 of them I can skip, but
Right.
I'm ready to go for that. Yeah,
All right. Fair. All fair.
especially with save states nowadays on Rare Replay.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say save states are definitely important on it, for
But
sure.
I'm gonna
I did not do a save state version.
I'm gonna try. Actually, I think it auto saves, to be honest with you. So if you pick it up again, you might pick up right where you left off.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try it on the Famicom. So, which there
Good
are no
old
save
fashioned.
states. Yeah,
Yep.
there might be a save state on the NT Mini Noir. I don't know how to
I don't
access it
know.
though.
But you get continues.
You do get continues, limited, but you get continues.
Yes.
I think they're limited. So in any event, I enjoyed it. Felix, damn you for choosing it.
Yep.
But nevertheless, I enjoyed it. I'm giving it.
Yep. Felix,
Oh,
you're not allowed on the show anymore.
real quick. The other thing I love about Battletoads is how I love the goofiness of it. That's my comedy. Like it was just goofy, but also a lot of like the weird things. Like you get like the Space Invader type aliens come and take away some of your hit points, some of your power,
Yeah.
and then you got to defeat them to get it back. But it's just very weird how you're playing a game, but then there's something that's focused on the HUD. Like that's weird, but fun in a weird way. So I love the comedy of it as well, if you want to call it comedy. So that's another reason why I kept playing it.
All right.
Just
That's fair.
like when they freak out, their mouths open wide, their eyes bug out.
Yes,
so.
I have seen. Yes, I did see that.
All right. So with that, two wonderful one for us, one for the other, two wonderful games in history. And probably two games that do deserve like Battletoads got one recently, but Star Fox deserves a proper new entry into the series.
I definitely agree with that.
It's your choice for this week's game of the week or next week's game of the week.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out something that was a little bit different instead of the normal course of action we usually go. Which is Nintendo. And I finally came up with something now that I have my setup here, and all my consoles are out. I want to play one of the consoles that, honestly, I haven't played it since you bought it for me.
Oh, what did I buy you?
Yeah. So, well, I'll tell you right now. So, and correct me if I'm wrong. I thought you bought it for me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Are you thinking about another co-host? How dare you, sir?
I might be. No. I'm pretty sure that you got this one for me. But I want to choose a game on a system that neither of us had as kids. And it was one of those systems where we all knew one person who had it.
Uh-oh.
And it's also a system that our friend Frank absolutely adores. And I'm talking about the Sega Master System.
Oh, okay.
And
now we're talking.
And I only have two games on it. So I'm picking one that I pretty sure you have.
Okay.
So I want us to play this week for the game of the week, Ghostbusters on the Sega Master System.
Ooh, Ghostbusters.
I
actually do have the cart.
Yes.
I have the box as well, but I do have the cart. To be fair, I also have the analog pocket, so I'm good. But nevertheless, all right, Ghostbusters on the Master System. I've been told many times that one of the better versions of this game during that 8-bit era. So
yes, also the reason why I want to play it, because I heard it was the better version.
All right, so let's do it. You said Frank. I think you meant Mario.
No, Frank.
Our Frank?
Our Frank.
You
Mailman Frank.
No, I know that's what I meant by our Frank. I would have said Frankie otherwise.
Okay. I thought Master System.
He might have played Master System. I mean, he's like 62, right? So he probably played Master System.
Yeah. I hope he listens to the episode. No, I thought for him it was always Master System and Commodore 64. I thought those
yes, you're right. Because Mario as well,
Yes.
My friend our friend who lives downstairs.
Yes.
He's big on the Master System as well. But I forgot Frank. You're right. I forgot Frank enjoyed that. Cool. So Ghostbusters. And actually with that, let's get into some news.
Yep, we're gonna get into some retro news, and I'm gonna roll through this quickly because I know we've been running long.
That's all right.
Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Japan. It was recently announced. It was announced a little while ago, but it was announced that there's going to be a new Donkey Kong ride.
Yes.
In the land. It's going to be a cart ride, like the mine cart coaster ride.
Uh-oh. Okay.
It's going to be similar to the game, when Donkey Kong jumps in the mine cart. Yep. And they've actually figured out a way where, if you know the game really well, while you're riding in the mine cart, the tracks drop.
That can't be that. I'm sure the lawyers did not approve that.
Oh no.
How does that work?
Yeah, so they have it. They have the car on a separate, like I don't know what like an arm, basically.
Oh, okay.
The car is on an arm, so as you're going through, all of a sudden tracks will drop in front of you, but you launch, you fly, quote unquote, you fly over them.
I can't even imagine someone who's not aware that the cart's attached to something else.
Yep.
And they just see it disappear, kind of like an 8-year-old me going on 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea and wondering why they're continuing this ride when a giant spiky octopus clearly has the ship in front of us that went first in its grasps.
Yes. So
Gnawing on it.
it's so that's really, really cool. So the idea
Yeah,
is
that is
that
cool
like
though.
there's like a hidden arm and track that you do not see
Okay.
on the cart. So as you're going, you're literally just going, and all of a sudden you see nothing. So
Oh man.
that sounds super fun.
That does actually, yes, yes.
Again, I cannot wait to go to Japan again. I'm going straight to Super Nintendo World, and I will
Oh,
probably max out my credit card on all of the merch.
this is just the Japan one. This isn't
Only
Hollywood.
Japan.
Okay.
Only Japan.
Figures.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm telling you, we need to do an on location from Japan.
I am ready to go. We just got to plan it for the first week of January
Why the first week of January?
because I want to go to Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, that's right. Priorities, Larry, priorities.
Absolutely.
All right. So, another bit of news, GameStop, the store we all know and love,
Yes.
quote unquote. They sadly announced that after 2 whole years of the best idea they've ever had, they are closing their NFT marketplace.
Why it took them 2 years to do it? Who knows?
I know. Should
I
have taken them 2 weeks.
I cannot get over how I still don't grasp NFTs. I mean, I know what they are. I just never understood it.
Yeah.
It was weird.
I think at this point, I can safely call NFTs a fad.
Oh, I think so. Absolutely.
They were a total fad. They did not
Absolutely.
work out. At least I don't think they worked out. So GameStop is closing their NFT marketplace. Maybe after that, GameStop will just close. We'll see.
Oh, all those teenagers out of work.
I know. Well, they don't do things to endear themselves to gamers.
It's a little tough. A little tough.
Yeah.
Did you see that new movie about the
no,
the
I saw the
Dirty Money, I think it's called, or
no,
something?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
But I'd like to say, I was very proud to say I had I took part in that a little bit.
You did.
I did. I did buy the stock when they were doing that.
Did you make any money off of it?
I did. I did.
Okay.
I actually made a good amount of money off of it when I
Fair.
sold. So
All right, cool.
I was very happy with my decision there. All right, moving on. This was announced. This was announced a few weeks ago, and I think we may have brought it up on the podcast, but I'm bringing it up again just in case.
Just real quick, I want to correct myself. Dumb Money is the
Dumb
movie
Money.
about the GameStop.
Short, the short
Yeah,
squeeze.
yeah. Okay.
All right. So it was announced a few weeks ago, I believe, that there's a game coming out on the Switch called The Transylvania Adventure
Oh yes.
of Simon Quest.
Yes.
So-
Lawyers, get ready.
Yeah, so it's being described as a parody homage of Castlevania 2.
Parody homage. It looks like they lifted it straight from the original code.
It really does. It really does. But it was recently announced that the game will be coming to the Nintendo Switch at some point in 2025.
Yeah,
You
I got a
play-
little while. Yeah.
You play as a guy named Simon who must resurrect and then slay Dracula by jumping between the overworld and various mansions. So,
It's gonna be interesting, though. I think in this version, I think it's almost like a mix of like Castlevania 1 and 2 as far as
Yep.
gameplay is concerned. I think it's got like side-scrolling levels, but it's got that RPG Castlevania 2 element to it.
Yep, it has mini games. It has you can do equipment chains. So there's a little bit
Yep.
there's a little bit of different things going on it, and the game does not have a linear route, so you can kind of
okay.
choose what path you go on.
Okay.
So definitely different. So curious to see what's going on with that.
I wonder if I'll hate this as much as I hate the original Castlevania 2.
Let's hope not. I told you to play the one that came out on the PC.
I have it. I know. Not the
Great.
PC one. I have but it's on I have it on my pocket. I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely great. They fix all of the issues you complain
Oh,
about.
100%. I feel like you complete it in like 15 minutes.
Yeah. So, next bit of news. This is a rumor that's been coming out.
A rumor.
A rumor. Lego has been responsible for creating a number of great Nintendo sets. I put together the NES console.
You did. That was fun
which
to
was
watch.
great.
Yeah.
Sitting up on my table right now because I actually just did my second Friends Lego set this week.
There was a second one?
Yeah, they did. Central Perk was the first one, and then
Okay.
the second one were the apartments.
Awesome.
So I put the two apartments together, and then
Okay.
there's a little hallway in between that connects them. So it looks great.
Oh, that's awesome.
It looks great. But sitting up on my table right now, because now I've got a bit of the Lego
Mm-hmm. Get the
the
Lego bug
Lego
going.
got the Lego bug. My Lego Atari 2600 set is next.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So I'll be doing that one. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that live like I did the Nintendo.
That was so ASMR. I mean, truly,
It
folks,
really
go
was.
back.
It was me very quietly
It was
putting together the
nice
Nintendo.
Christmas
Um,
music, I think, because you did during Christmas time, I think.
it was New Year's Day.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, so you probably still had Christmas music.
It was
So
January 1st, I did the Nintendo set, and then January 2nd, I did the TV with Super Mario Brothers on it. So I split it
awesome.
up, which it was just so much fun. But now there's a rumor going around that that Lego's working on a Legend of Zelda set,
Oh,
and the rumor is that it's going to be the Deku tree from Ocarina of Time.
wow. That I'm trying to envision what that could look like, and it seems amazing.
Yep, it seems amazing. I'm a little surprised because I would think the first thing you want to go for is the castle, Hyrule Castle.
True, true.
But supposedly it's going to be a 2,500 piece set released September of 2024. But again, these are rumors. Nothing official has come out. But that
Okay.
seems very specific for rumors. So
Does, yeah.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right, moving on. This is a very, very strange thing that I just read.
All right.
So, and it all has to do with a modder online, but apparently you can dump a Game Boy Advance ROM, by crashing the game and recording the audio. So it's very weird. I had to read this a couple of times to understand how it works because I'm
Okay.
like, this is weird. So,
Jack, where are you?
so there's a modder out there called the ZZAZ glitch, ZZAZZ
Okay.
glitch. So what he did was he played a game. He played a Game Boy Advance game. You crashed the game
Okay.
and recorded the sound that plays after an hour and a half. I don't know.
What?
I don't know how you figure this out. So if you crash a Game Boy Advance game after an hour and a half, it'll start leaching the cartridge data through audio. So the audio sounds are actually the data of the game. And if you record the data of the game, and he did tinker with the code a little bit, and he had to take multiple recordings to get it right. But you can record the data, you can record the audio,
Yeah.
which is the data of the game,
Yeah,
and then you can take that recording and basically rebuild the game and boot it up.
It's almost like the old cartridge, the old cassette games, like for the Commodore and stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
But how the hell did he come up with an hour and a half? And how long did it say how long you have to record the audio?
It doesn't. I don't know.
9-hour recording.
Yeah, according to his explanation, he says it turns out the Game Boy Advance crash sound is just the console playing its entire address space as sound data. If we have a clear recording, we can convert it back to actual bytes, thus dumping the RAM and ROM.
That part I get. I totally understand.
I don't know how he got the hour and a half bit.
That I don't know.
Yeah,
that
I
have.
Like, did the game crash and he literally just let it sit there?
Like he forgot.
Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, I don't know. That it's a very, very odd thing, and
that's the part that I question the most. I totally understand taking the sound and turning it into the data.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah,
but the hour and a half. All right, interesting.
Yeah, it's just funny how people find out these things. I really don't know.
It's above my pay grade.
Yep. All right, moving on. A couple of new games coming out for old systems.
Ooh, I like this.
There was a brand new NES game coming out that is going to feature Zapper support. If you still have your NES Zapper, the game is called Super Sunny World. Super Sunny World. It's a side scrolling.
Sunny I'm thinking of.
No, not the same Sunny. So it's a side scrolling game. The NES Zapper will be the second player. So the first player just plays the game, and then the second player can actually use the zapper to eliminate enemies on the
That's
screen with the zapper
cool.
gun. So kind of cool. So cool way, cool two-player way to play the game.
And it just looks like a fun game in general.
It just
I'm
looks like
looking
a
at it
fun,
now.
yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like a fun side-scrolling game. It's got a little bit of, it's got an Adventure Island look to me with the
A little bit.
graphics.
Okay.
A
Yes.
little
Yes.
bit,
I see that now.
a
Yep.
little bit. So, yeah, so Super Sunny World. So if you have an OG NES or OG NES and a
Zapper.
two good old Tube TV CRT,
Yeah.
you can pick up a copy of Super Sunny World when it comes out. Another game
Interesting.
that uses the zapper.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So yeah, very cool. And here's an even cooler one, Larry, that you're going to enjoy because you have this item in your possession.
Don't lie to me.
There is a new Game Boy game coming out
Oh.
that allows you to use the Game Boy printer.
Oh. Okay. I do have a printer.
I
And
know.
I have new paper for it.
I know. So the game is called Song of Morris, Gala of Battle, or
All right.
Gala.
Yeah, sure.
I always say Gala, it's Gala. Song of Morris, Gala of Battle is described as a Hong Kong themed boss fight shooting game about a young Taoist priestess fighting hostile spiritual creatures and evil magic users.
Sounds about right.
It has an early access availability for $3.99. It's
$3
playable.
and 99 cents?
Yep,
300.
$4.
Okay, okay, good.
$4. It's playable on Game Boy hardware, and the developer adds that players should imagine it's a Flappy Bird game with auto shoot mechanic. I don't know why they say that.
Okay.
The really cool part is there will be 12 unlockable bookmarks to obtain in the game, and those can be printed on your Game Boy printer.
That's cool. Okay, that's pretty cool. I was wondering how you play with the printer, but that makes sense.
Yeah, so you unlock bookmarks and then
All
print
right,
them.
cool.
So yeah, so there you go. Somebody figured out a way to use a Game Boy printer after all these years.
Very good.
All right, moving on. Okay. Every week, I feel like we're always announcing another like high lifestyle brand coming out with some type of clothing or watch or whatever. Right?
Okay.
For a video game. So they're appealing to the gamer market. This week it's Zara. And Zara, Zara, Zara. Zara is a fashion company.
Mm-hmm.
And they are releasing a limited edition Sega Dreamcast bag. So they did apparently they also did crossbody bags for the Saturn and the Master System, but now it's a Dreamcast variant.
Okay.
It's only available in Asia.
Oh, I can't find.
Well,
Oh,
actually,
here it is.
it's not available. I'm sorry, not Asia. My mistake. Normally they're available in Asia, but it's not. This has been spotted in South Africa, Chile, Australia, and Brazil.
Interesting. So South America.
Yeah, so mostly South America and South
Look at
Africa.
this thing.
So not only can you get this Dreamcast bag, there's also, like I said, a Master System and a Saturn bag as well. And they are in the shape of the controllers
Yes.
from the systems.
Almost look 1-to-1 size almost.
I know. I kind of want the Dreamcast bag.
It looks very interesting.
Yeah, it just looks fun.
Yeah.
Would I ever use it? No, but I kind of just want it to have it. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, interesting. All right, moving on. Here's something interesting because I've never heard of this system, this console. But there's an article that just came out. It's a Japanese console from 1983 called the Gakken Compact Vision TV Boy. And it's GAKKEN. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the preservationist website Gaming Alexandria recently announced that it managed to scan, dump, and preserve every game that was released for this system.
Look at this thing.
Yep. So this console was released exclusively in Japan in October of 1983. It was much cheaper than other consoles that were in the market at the time. It was selling for 8,800 yen, which is about, I think, $90, 90 or $100.
Well, who knows back then?
Or back then, yeah. So only 6 games were ever released. So a couple of the only game that we would know, I think, is Frogger.
It looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, Frogger was released on it and 5 other games. But like I said, this gaming website, or this preservationist website, Gaming Alexandria, has preserved all of these games. I just thought it was really cool because it's not often that we come across a console that
No.
we don't know. And granted, there are a ton of consoles that were made out there in other regions that we don't know about. So I always like reporting when I find a new one.
Not only that, it's almost like the console is the controller itself.
Yeah, because there's like a joystick on the actual console.
There's that and what looks like almost like a train, like something that you would run like a train simulator with.
Yes.
It's hard to explain. I mean, we'll show in the video, but well, Atchik Frogger and Super Cobra is another popular game from
Super
Konami
Cobra,
back in the
okay.
day. But yeah, the other games I have no idea what it is. But very interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, although I am curious about what Excite Invaders are. Like,
Yeah, right.
or Mr. Bomb. Mr. Bomb.
Well, I mean, that's it's right there, Mr.
Yeah,
Bomb.
Mr. Bomb. So yeah, just really cool bit of news. I'm
Okay.
now curious about that. Arcade, I'm almost done.
All right.
Arcade Archives is releasing, let's see, or at this point they have already released it. They released a new game. They released Konami's Super Contra on
Yes,
the
I saw
Nintendo
this.
Switch and the PS4.
Interesting.
Does not say PS5, it says PS4. So if you don't have Super Contra or the Contra Collection and you like this game, you can buy the Arcade Archives version if you are a fan of those releases.
And it's the arcade version. Let's be specific. The arcade version of
Yes.
Super Contra, not the NES version. Funny enough, as I said it before, I love the Contra series. I am not a fan of the arcade versions.
Yes, you
Yeah.
have said that. Okay, cool. Moving on to Alone in the Dark, another series that we
Wonderful
don't talk
movies.
about very much. I've never seen the movies.
Get you better off.
I know. Is that the one? Is that the one where they made Tara Reid a doctor?
Oh, was it that one or was it one of the other ones? Good call. I don't remember.
I don't remember if it was Alone in the Dark or something else.
It might have been Alone in the Dark. I don't think it was House of the Dead. It was probably Alone in the Dark.
No, it was not House of. I think it was Alone in the Dark where Tara Reid was a doctor, and
Yes.
I was already out as soon as they announced that.
I mean,
like,
come
nope,
on.
nope.
Tara Reid and Christian Slater in the leads.
Christian Slater. I remember Christian Slater was in it as well.
I'm sorry. Christian Slater, Tara Reid, and Steven Dorff.
Oh, good Lord.
Yep.
Oh, that's too funny.
I think, and you know what? I recently bought this movie too.
Did you? Why would you buy it?
Well, because I'm buying up all the video game movies. They're dirt cheap. So this was one of them.
Wow. All right. So anyway, what I was about to say about Alone in the Dark, it's one of the franchises. It's one of the franchises that I've always wanted to own.
Okay.
Or play, I should say, but I never have. So recently, Alone in the Dark announced that there's a reboot coming out.
Ooh, okay.
It's coming out March 20th, PS5, Xbox, and Windows.
Wow. Okay.
It will feature actors David Harbour and Jodie Corner in the leads.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So so they're doing heavy hitting.
Look at this.
Yeah. So what they announced is the Alone in the Dark, if you buy the digital deluxe edition, it'll include retro skins based on the 1992 original game.
That's cool.
So you can get the nice blocky polygonal PC versions.
That's what we want.
I would love to have that. And then you have actors from today mouthing the words. Which would be interesting. So we got that. And then last bit of retro news, and then promise we're out of here, is from Atari.
Yes.
Atari is continuing the mini game, the mini console craze.
Yep.
Which again, it seems to quiet down a little bit, and then all of a sudden a new one pops up. So Atari announced the Atari 400 Mini. Larry's going to buy it because it's Atari. He buys everything Atari.
I think it's more because it's a mini.
Well, yeah, it's a mini too. So the Atari 400 Mini is going to be $120 coming March 2024. The cool thing about it is that it's going to include games from the whole 8-bit Atari range, from the 400 to the 130 XE, and most importantly, because these games are always hard to find, the Atari 5200. Some Atari 5200 games will be on here.
Yes.
It's going to be loaded with 25 games. So, and then some of the ones they've announced are Lee, Berserk, Millipede, Miner 2049er, Mule, and Star Raiders 2.
Very cool. Minor 2049er is such a, you forget about that game.
Yeah,
It's
a
a
good
really
game.
fun game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's going to have 4 USB slots for controllers. So
Mhm.
you can play up to 4 players. I don't know which games are going to be 4
Well,
players.
not just for players, but there's another reason for that as well. Like you said,
You can also put in flash drive.
yep.
You can play your own compatible games via USB flash drive. So
Yes.
it starts with 25 games, and you can put a flash drive in and load it up.
Oh yeah.
So again, $120. This is really interesting because if you can put a flash drive in with like the entire Atari library, I go, then this is your current Atari system.
Basically. Yeah.
So Atari 400 Mini, that is the end of our retro news for the week.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this Atari 400 Mini. It'll go right good with my 500 that I really don't play.
Yeah, I'm curious about that one, and I still need to buy the A500.
That's what I meant. The A5. That's what I meant. The
A500.
Amiga 500.
The Amiga.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still need to get my Amiga one.
I updated it. I did
Nice.
update it with the new game is in there now, and
Very
it took
nice.
forever. Boy, did I learn how to format thumb drives doing that. Holy Lord.
Okay.
Apparently, there's a specific way to do it.
But at least you figured it out.
I did.
Very
much
important.
trial and error.
Yes.
All right. Well, with that, then we will wrap everything up. And one more time, where can they find us?
You guys can find us on Facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast, on Instagram at RetroGamersPodcast, on Twitter
X.
at RetroGamersPod. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube at RetroGamersPodcast. You can watch us on Spotify as well. And you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
All right. With that, we're calling it a week. And
A good week.
have a good week. Anything, whatever else you're doing where you live now.
I have no idea. Well, it's hard to do much here when it's 5 degrees.
Oh, I love hearing that. I need that.
Yeah.
All right. Enjoy, my friend.
You have a good week as well.
And folks, we'll catch you everywhere next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.